Let me ask you a question. What would you say if I told you that I was on television in 172 countries around the world? What would you say? What would you say if I told you that my voice had been translated into 46 different languages? In every single one of us, there's some little kid that's jumping up and down, who's stoked about something. The problem is, there's so many times when that little kid inside of us that's excited about stuff is just ignored.
So if you're sitting there right now going, oh, my dream is too big, the thing I want to do is unrealistic, don't listen to that little voice in your head or anyone else who says you can't do that, because you can. Dave and I are living proof that you can start here and do whatever you want to do. So if you're like, I don't have any money, I got a really bad situation at home, there's no hope here, I'm not you. You can do it. You got to own your story. If you're coming from difficult circumstances, the first thing you got to do is say, yeah, that's what I got going on right now. Own it. Because if you can take that bad situation and turn it into a positive, people are going to look at you and be like, hey, he or she, they got over that hurdle, and look how successful. They're going to look at you in a different way because you're not a victim anymore. You're not saying, oh, my parents did this, or I'm this, or I'm that, I'm not popular, I'm not cool. Stop it. You are what you are. Own it and take advantage of that. You guys, every single one of you in this room has something cool going on that nobody else has in this room. You can do something better than absolutely everybody else in this room. Just you. You just got to believe in yourself.
Because man, there is some real power in just being who you are. I want you guys to think about the golfer who goes out and gets struck by lightning. Puts on spiked golf shoes, goes out in bad weather, on wet grass, and holds a metal rod over top of their head. He's put himself in a really good place to get struck by lightning. Life is like that. When you're doing something that you really love to do and you're just following what you're passionate about, you put yourself in a good place for something amazing to happen to you that's tailor-made for who you are. That whole entire summer, I slept in the front seat of my pickup truck. I was basically the most highly paid homeless guy in the state of Alaska.
I went to college completely and utterly uninspired. You know what I did in college? I played ping pong. I played a lot of ping pong and I skipped a lot of classes. And guess who was putting herself through college? It was me. I was paying to play ping pong. Not an awesome plan. Then one day on campus, I saw something hanging up on a corkboard that would change my life. And it was a job advertisement for Yellowstone National Park. Yeah! And within a couple months, we were on a bona fide road trip across the United States of America, people! This is the first time I'd have really ever been out of Michigan. I was like, yeah, this is awesome! It was a good time. Did a lot of fishing, hiking, went rock climbing in Cody, Wyoming. I mean, check that out. This was awesome, at least to me. This is my version of awesome. I'm like, what's next?
Imagine there's a kid, gets out of college, has $100,000 in student loans. Not really excited about the field that he's found himself studying all these years. Let's just imagine that this kid loves rock climbing and has spent all his vacation time and all his weekends rock climbing. And he could have got a job as a guide, a rock climbing instructor, but he thought, you know what? I need to do the responsible thing and get a real job in a real field. Now he's out of school, he's got all this crippling debt, and he has to get a job in a field that he can afford to pay his debt off. And he's not even excited about the degree he's got. And that's the problem in this country in a lot of ways. People get involved in things that they're really not that stoked about.
Don't say, oh, I'm going to wait till I'm 60 when I retire and I've got all kinds of time and money, because you won't make it. You're going to die of a heart attack the day you retire. You ever heard of those people? Like, I just retired. Bam, they're dead. They missed out on their whole life. You got one shot at this. Now, what about you? What is it that makes you come alive? Because if you can tap into that, you are on your way to being happy. Most people in this world are doing stuff that doesn't make them happy. It's stuff that pays the bills. It's stuff that keeps the lights on, but it's not inspiring. It doesn't feed their soul. Now, I want you to notice I never told you anything about me being a waitress or bagging groceries or working as a security guard on a missile field. You know why? Because there's nothing wrong with those jobs, but they did nothing for me. They didn't feed me. This stuff feeds me. And that's what you have to remember.
And we spent 10 years without running water. You ever use an outhouse when it's 60 degrees below zero? Yeah, it's just as cool as you think it is.
The first thing you realize when you're in Alaska, you step into the bush, you realize instantly that you are not at the top of the food chain.
If that show had never happened, I was still living a life that brought me a lot of joy. I was living in the bush in one of the most beautiful states in the world, beautiful places in the world. So if that show had never happened, I still would have been doing something I love to do, in a place I love to be. And isn't that success, really? You get out of school, follow the things you're passionate about. I don't think you can lose.
Just go for it. That's what we're here to tell you. Just go for it, whatever it is.